All right, let's talk about temporary occupancy. So temporary occupancy is a option you have when you are selling your home and possibly buying another one, and there's a bit of a time gap in between. So temporary occupancy can be very helpful if you say, hey, we are closing on our new house on Thursday, but you are having our closing for this house on Monday. Is it possible for us to do a temporary occupancy for the rest of the week so that we don't have to go somewhere else in the meantime? So that's what it's intended for. Now, temporary occupancy cannot be used for more than 60 days because with most homes, when you are purchasing them, you are getting a mortgage, and a mortgage is set up so that this is your primary residency, and you must take possession of your primary residency within 60 days. So if you have the previous owner staying there past 60 days, you are then entering into a sort of rental agreement with them, which it would be not what your mortgage says. So you could run into issues there. The big thing is they have made some changes to the Georgia Association of Realtors contracts for temporary occupancy. A lot of this has to do with what was going on in the past couple of years, where people were selling their homes before they'd really even found somewhere else and needing to stay for long periods of time and kind of taking advantage of this temporary occupancy agreement. So in order to try to cut down on that, they have strengthened some of the language within this agreement. In the past, when you were doing a temporary occupancy agreement, you had to give the new owner one set of keys. Now, the wording in the agreement says that they must have a set of keys along with any garage door openers, codes to anything. They need to be able to, at any point, get into the property. So you need to have given them all the materials that they need to do that. The agreement also goes over the responsibilities that the temporary occupant would have, and those include maintaining the property. So you're cutting the grass, you're replacing light bulbs. Generally, you need to do the right thing and treat the property like it's still yours and not be inconsiderate of it. So that's all pretty normal. Where it gets a little bit more interesting as far as whether or not you would want to enter into one of these agreements as a seller is when it comes to when the new buyer is allowed access to the property. So in paragraph 9 of the occupancy agreement, it says that upon 24-hour notice, advance notice to the seller, buyer and buyer's representatives, which does not mean the real estate agent, shall have the right Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Sundays from 1 to 6 p.m. to access the property to inspect, repair, and maintain the property. So, they need to have access to the property. It is, after all, theirs. Those are some rather long times, but that's seems pretty standard. The part that makes it a little bit more pause-worthy is the next part, which goes on to say that the buyer and the buyer's representatives may enter the property at any time to investigate potential emergencies. Evidence of water leaks, fire, smoke, foul odors, sounds indicating the possibility of an injured person or animal, and other similar evidence of emergency shall be sufficient grounds for buyer and buyer's representatives to enter the property for this purpose. So what that means is that if the new owner thinks they heard a squirrel in the attic on a Tuesday night at 11:30 that was possibly in distress, they may enter the property to investigate. I don't know about you, but if I were the person who was needing to occupy the home at the time, I might not really be comfortable with that. And legally, it's their home, so they have the right. But definitely you want to make sure that that's something you know before you enter into one of these temporary occupancy agreements. Let me know if you have any questions or if I can help you in any other way.